How's it going, YouTube? It's your boy Tafsinix, coming at you with a deck profile today. Today I'm bringing you to Labyrinth. This is a deck that's really polarizing to a lot of people. A lot of people either love this deck or they hate this deck. A lot of people think that certain cards in this deck should be banned and need to be banned. And I'm just going to go over the deck list, explain what some of the cards do, because a lot of people that I've talked to and at locals where I won don't really know how some of these cards work. And if they do know, they don't know a lot of they don't know a lot of the interactions and what they do. So I'm just going to go over what each card does in the deck as I go through the deck profile. So yeah, it's going to be a more comprehensive deck profile because of that. So we start with Lovely Lady Labyrinth, or Lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. So Lovely is the one of the deck. She has 2900 attack. She is summonable by the two trap cards in your deck, the welcomes. And the big thing about her is that when this trap removes a card from the field, she can destroy a card on the field or in your opponent's hand. So she can pop, and it's non-targeting, so non-target pops a card on the field or in the hand. So, and usually you can chain block this with like a ton of the cards in the deck, and it's one of those really insane effects. And then she also has an effect where she can set a trap from the graveyard to the field. She is one of the big powerhouses of the deck. She's a one of solely because you can recycle her a lot. There's tons of cards in the deck that let you revive her or let you use her again. And she's super quick to get. So like the idea is that you get her out quickly and you just don't lose the game. The next card is to Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. So she's your big 3K attack stick. Um, her effect's really nice. She's a free summon from the hand as long as you've activated a trap or a labyrinth effect this turn. Um, and she also has an effect that when a normal trap is activated, as long as your opponent hasn't responded to it, she can directly chain to it, and she can set another trap of a different name from, or another normal trap of a different name from the deck, which lets you get to so many things. So like if you activate Welcome Labyrinth with her on the field and your opponent doesn't like ash it, then you can chain her effect to set like Eradicator Virus or something from the deck. And that's what a lot of the combo is just if you open this and Big Welcome, you basically, depending on what your opponent is playing, you will always be able to Eradicator Virus them on turn one. So the idea is that like as long as you can activate her effect and summon her on turn one, then you're good. For the next two cards, we have Ariana. Ariana is like a linchpin in a combo with Lady. So the idea is that you activate a Labyrinth card or like or a trap card, and you get Lady to the field. As soon as you're able to do that, then if you activate Big Welcome and summon Ariana, you're able to summon Ariana, return Lady to hand. If Lady's already in the field, you set the Eradicator Virus. So you set Eradicator Virus, summon Ariana, return Lady to hand, and then Ariana effect searches for Kuklok. Lady can summon. Kuklok effect lets you activate Eradicator, attributing the Lady you resummoned. And then you just call Spell or Trap depending on what you're playing against. And you get to look at their hand. You get to destroy any spell or trap, or spell card or trap card depending on what you picked. And then you also have a 2100 defense body on the board with extra traps in the field. So like the idea is that you're always going to be able to like do some kind of degenerate combo. I say degenerate combo with this deck because that's just how it is. And the deck has so much recursion in it with between Big Welcome, the Field Spell, and Muckraker, and it's really and all the cards' effects kind of play into each other, which I will explain more in a second. But her second effect is also that if a monster leaves the field by trap card, you get to draw a card, and then you get to either set a trap or special summon a fiend monster from your hand. Um, these effects don't come up too often, but the summon from hand effect does every once in a while because sometimes you draw lovely, and it lets you summon it from hand, which the only other card that lets you do that is Big Welcome. Uh, we have one Labyrinth Chandraglier. I would just call it Chandelier because it's easier. So you can discard this monster and another card from your hand to set any Labyrinth trap from your deck, or spells. So you can set the field spell with it too. And essentially what this does is typically you do this with another card, to set Big Welcome, activate Lady in hand, set two pass. and then you can go big welcome, chain lady, and you can do your combo. This is what actually like starts it off for that. And then the second effect that it has, and this is how you like chain block a lot of the stuff, where if a card's removed, so like you can chain block lovely with it, is if a monster is removed by the effect of a trap card, you can return this card from the graveyard to the hand. So if you end up doing big welcome, summon, return, and then you can chain lovely, and then chain 2, chain Gear, chain 3 Ariana, or chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. It does a whole lot of stuff like that, and it's really interesting. I like Gear rather than Stovey, because Stovey summons itself, but Gear returns to the hand, and because of that, you're able to have constant recursion for it. It's also just fun because it's a level 3, and I have an affinity for level 3 fiends ever since PK Fire. And then the last Labyrinth monster you play is Cuckoo Clock, or Cuclock. So the big thing with Cuclock is that you can discard it to be able to activate any trap that was set this turn. So the idea is that this is why you search it with Ariana during that combo, because you discard this as cost to be able to activate trap cards. And so this is the linchpin, one of the linchpins for that whole combo where you get to like just rip spells or traps from your opponent's hand on turn one. Because you can do all that, and because you can do all their effects in draw phase, and it doesn't, they don't care. And then it has the other effect that when a card is discarded by the effect of a labyrinth card, so basically a chandelier, that it can return itself to the hand or summon itself to the field. So the idea is that you can you can bounce cards from the field to the hand. So big labyrinth has you return from the hand, return to the hand, and then you can return this to the hand, pop a card, and then you can activate this effect to discard itself and another card this set, return Kuklak to the hand. Kuklak can discard to activate the trap card, and then do things all over again. So it's a whole lot of recursion. It's a whole lot of BS. Um, and then with the field spell, the field spell is one of those cards that's really nice. It adds an extra effect to your trap cards to let them destroy a card on resolution. It also has an effect that lets you revive a fiend from the hand or graveyard, which I almost never use. Um, because I never realize it. Because typically you're activating your labyrinth normal traps to get them out first, and then you're going to activate the other normal traps to trigger all of your labyrinth stuff. So it's usually you activate cards the other way around. But if you activate them like this, then this can be powerful to bring back like lovely and stuff. So like this is another one of the cards that lets you revive. And a lot of people don't know that effect. In fact, I didn't know it for a while until like until like the last round of the locals. 3 Welcome Labyrinth and 3 Big Welcome Labyrinth. I'll just show these two together because these two are essentially like the biggest issues with the deck for the Labyrinth stuff. So Welcome Labyrinth lets you summon from deck any Labyrinth monster, and then Big Welcome Labyrinth lets you summon from hand, graveyard, or hand, deck, or graveyard. Yeah, any Labyrinth monster, and you can summon them in attack or defense. It doesn't matter. But Big Labyrinth returns one to the hand afterwards. So the big thing is you summon with this, you can summon with this and then bounce, triggering their effects, but also they have graveyard effects, which is the big thing. So if a card is removed by the effect of a trap card, Welcome Labyrinth can set itself face down, and it can do this near and like infinitely. And then because you can do that on your opponent's turn, so you can remove a card, set it face down, your turn, activate it to like deal a bunch of damage, and then next turn if you remove cards and then do any of these effects, you can chain block these with the trap card as well. It's really interesting. And then this has an effect where you can banish it to target a card on the field and return it to the hand. And if you have a level 8 or higher fiend, you can target a card on your opponent's field instead. So it's removal, or you can use it to force effects of cards when they're removed by the effect of a trap card, which is really nice for the deck. So you have a way to like force it with that. For the non-labyrinth monsters, I play 2 Lord of the Heavenly Prison. This card's really good because you can reveal it from your hand, and then it stays revealed until your next turn. And while it's revealed, your opponent cannot destroy set spells or traps on your side of the field. So because of that, I don't know if it's set cards or set spells or traps, actually. Oh, it would protect your monsters too if you had set monsters. I didn't even realize that, so that's pretty good. So So he protects your stuff, and then if you activate a set card, you can activate the effect to summon him from hand. So he's a free summon, and then he sets a spell trap from your deck to your field, and then that card is removed during the next end phase, or of the end phase of the next turn. Sorry, I always say that the wrong way. Um, but I mean, usually you pick a card that can be activated. But this card is huge. He's 3K, 3K. He's rock, he's dark. So he plays into Tikaboo. He plays into Gozen for you. He's pretty nice and just adds to your deck basically. Protects a lot of stuff, and that's the reason why like Duster protection and like Solemn isn't needed in the main deck anymore. The next two cards are 2D Shifter. Basically an auto win against a lot of certain decks. And the whole reason we play is because they're like an auto win. And honestly, you don't need the graveyard on your turn one. Typically, like if you're going second, your opponent's comboing. If you discard this to stop their combo, then it slows them down, passes it to you. You can set your cards and pass. The shifter passes, but then you get to play as if you went first and set all your cards. So it's pretty nice. Two ash blossoms, sorry. I do play a lot of two loves, you'll notice, but two ash blossoms is just nice because it helps you hit branded in a lot of the issue decks. And then three lava golem because if you go second, um, there's a lot of cases where your opponent can just set up a bunch of negates or a lot of spell trap removal, and then so this lets you remove them. And we don't use our normal summon in this deck at all. You could argue that you can normal summon Ariana and activate her effect, but that's beside the point because you never really normal summon her anyway. You mainly just summon her off of like a labyrinth trap and then bounce her and then summon her again. Or discard her and summon her with like big welcome or something. For the spells, we play 3 Pot of Extravagance. I am too poor for Pot of Prosperity, so we play the poor version and the draw 2 version. I actually like this. I like the idea of being able to draw 2 anyway. I like Prosperity in this deck. I think it's fine, but like also and it would probably be better in a lot of ways, but Prosperity is one of those cards that I don't have the money to afford, and Extravagance has honestly served pretty well, being able to draw the extra card and having all the extra advantage of Extravagance. Plus, for the next card, it's never conflicted with, so the next card is 3 Super Polys. The Extrav has never conflicted with this. Even when it has technically conflicted with it, it never hits every card that can be used. So it's one of those ways that you have cards that conflict technically, but because you play so many cards in the extra deck for them, or you play so many cards for them that like it really doesn't. You don't really need all of them, so it kind of helps you with that. And because they're all in the extra deck, you can't clog on them. The card that everybody thinks should be banned, one Eradicator Virus. So what Eradicator Virus does is you tribute a monster 2,500 more attack. Then you call a Spell Trap. You get to look at your opponent's hand and all their set spells or traps, and then you get to also look at the next 3 cards they draw, and you destroy any card by the declared type. So if you're playing Sky Strikers and I call spell cards, this basically ruins your game. I get to see your hand, I get to destroy all your spells and traps, or all your spells, and then I also get to see your next 3 draws for the turn. So I get infinite hand knowledge. I know exactly how your deck is being played, and like your only saving grace would be Kigari and searching off engage. But even then, those draws off of engage, I get to see them. So I get to see the search, which doesn't get hit by the Eradicator Virus. But if you draw a spell off Eradicator Virus, then that's also hit. It's really it's really bad for the game, but I think in the Labyrinth at 1 it's okay. And I think if this card gets hit, it should get limited. Because that way things like Dragonlink can't play it unless they're like playing Thrust and they force it. Like Vanquish Soul can't play it because they play Bestials and stuff, so like they can't play it without again forcing it with Thrust or something. And it's a card that's problematic for certain decks, and like overtuned decks like Vanquish Soul and then like Dragonlink and stuff can play it, and that's kind of like the other issue. It's also why like you don't see Labyrinth top very many events, because Vanquisol and like Visteel Dragonlink can body this deck because they can play the trap that beats us and just call trap cards and literally just ruin our day. It's also why I'm playing sort of a monster and spell heavy version. While I do have mostly traps in the deck, I do have a lot of monsters and stuff, so I can at least clear board, maybe live a turn, or maybe live a few turns and like get through it. And then like Super Poly's removal and stuff like that. But the card itself is very polarizing. The card's an issue card. It was on the forbidden list before, or it was on the forbidden limited list. I think it was at 1. If it goes back to 1, I think it's very valid, and I think not to get into like a ban list debate, but I think it's very very important that this card gets hit somehow. 1 Terrors of the Overroot. This card is cracked, being able to remove a card from the graveyard, and then also being able to remove a card from the field and just swap their spots and sit the card face down. So like if I'm giving them back a monster like a useless Ash Blossom or something, and just putting that face down on the field while also being able to remove a monster from the graveyard, I think that's very nice. It's just one of those things that's very interesting to the deck, because this card itself gives you an extra layer of interaction, but then it also creates issues with all your other cards because so many of your cards can get triggered off of a normal trap, or because this card removes a card from the field, it really creates issues for your opponent. 1 Punishment. Punishment's really good. Not I don't think I had to explain this card very much. This card's pretty good. 1 Daruma. So this card does not trigger your Labyrinth cards when it removes a card from the field, because it doesn't do it. So this is the way that we out Pearly usually. When they have a Pearly with so many materials, having a Daruma set is really important because Daruma Cannon lets you flip all your opponent's monsters face down, and because Noir is unaffected, it can't be flipped face down. And then because of that, Cannon tells your opponent that they have to pick monsters. They have to send any monster that's not flipped to the graveyard. So what this card does is it makes your opponent send them to the graveyard, not you. And because the trap doesn't do it, it doesn't trigger your Labyrinth stuff. But it does out cards that are unaffected, like Noir and Arrival Cyberus and things like that. 2 Skill Drain. Again, we're playing 2-ofs, so I guess I'll show the other Floodgate 2-of is 2 goes in match. Almost everything in this deck is dark other than Lava Golem. And Lava Golem doesn't get summoned to my field anyway. So it's one of those like these 2 Floodgates are pretty good. Skill Drain does hit your Labyrinth cards on the field a lot, but I think the bigger the payoff of having Skill Drain block your opponent from using their effects is better, and all of your bigger Labyrinth cards are huge. So like Lovely's 29, and then you have Lady who's 3K, and you can have multiples of them on the field. That just and because Lord of the Heavenly Prison activates in your hand, it's a free summon as well. So you have multiple just 3K beat sticks hitting your opponent's face, which is typically just a really easy way to win. Typically, when people see skill drain at a certain point or goes a match, they just scoop. Goes a match is just another one of those cards that lets me help beat Vanquisol, because Vanquisol in general is also a problem for this deck. And then the last 3 cards are 3 Solemn Strike for the main deck. Strike is one of those cards that's really good. I love Strike as a card. Genuinely really good. And this card was also really nice. Being able to just negate a synchro summon or like a link summon has always been really nice, but also being able just to hard negate effects has been really good. The extra deck is going to be really fast because it's really simple. So Muckraker revives a fiend from the graveyard, and can protect fiends by tributing other fiends. It's pretty nice. Not super needed in some decks, but I definitely think it's needed in this one. 2 Intis. These are your punishment targets, sorry. And then Garura is also a punishment target, but it's also a super poly target. So like these are the 4 cards that like you don't want to see a hit from Prosperity or from Extravagance, but like sometimes do. But it's not a huge deal. Mud Dragon is your other like big super poly target, like for generically. And then we have Starving Venom, which is just any two dark monsters, so it hits tons of decks. So it hits like Dragon Link, it hits the Mirror Match, it hits uh, Branded. It can technically hit Soul. It can hit a lot of, and it hits a lot of decks. Uh, we have one for the planet Drexapilia. If I draw two Super Poly, this is good. If I draw Super Poly into like tier limits, this is nice. Branded, this is nice. You're gonna see like a lot of a lot of these are like specifically for decks. So like these two are like almost specifically for branded. Um, because this requires Despia monster. This requires a fusion monster, and then for like Cyber decks, we have Diplexer and Earth Golem. So like we have any two Cybers monsters, and then this is any Cybers monster plus a Link monster. So like if you get to a certain point in their combo, you can hit them with either of these. Grapha for Dark World. Also like depending if if name replacement monsters get summoned, then you can use it there. For Punk, for the what's it called? The Gold Pride Punk. Yeah, I play this. It's not super needed. It's just one of those cards that's like, oh, I can play it, and it's got 1,000 attack, and it's just funny to have. One Starving Enemy in case I play against Pendulum. All of my monsters are dark, so the idea is that even if they don't have a dark for me to fuse with this, I can technically do it. And then for Infernobles or for Heroes, I have this, and then for Heroes, I have this as well. You could argue a DPE into the deck, but honestly, I think these are fine. For what they are. They're also all technically like punishment targets because he's 27, 2000, 25. He's not his 1000. 32, 23, 2000, 25, 27, 28, 19, 15. Intis is 25, but Intis also pops a card, which is why you play her. And then Muckraker, you never send off of punishment. You always use her specifically for link stuff. And yeah, that's the main and the extra deck. I'll go into the side deck and I'll explain why I played cards in the side deck. But I will say now my side deck isn't too good, I think. I think my side deck can be a lot better, but I just didn't have the time. I rushed the side deck more than anything. So first is 3 Raigeki. I like the idea of Raigeki. So I wanted to try it out in the deck. I don't think I sided it in a single time. I didn't really have any decks that I think Raigeki would have been good into. So like this could have just as easily been Dark Thriller or more copies of hand traps or certain trap cards. I played 3 Solemn J. Uh, Solemn J in the side was just there for was for going first because everybody sides in Duster and Lightning Storm versus me. Um, Depending on what I was playing against, I didn't need it sometimes going first. So one of the big things was I played against a Dark World player and I hit him with D-Shifter in game 1. He instantly scooped. He didn't see what I was playing. He didn't know what I was playing. So game 2, I was able to play into him and he didn't have Duster. He didn't have anything and he couldn't see my hand because he didn't make me discard anything. So I scooped before I was able to play. And then game 3, I just went first, and he didn't have Duster because he didn't know what I was playing. Because he had hand looped me in game 2 with Silva, which I think is a terrible thing. Silva should be banned. But then I was able to go first in game 3, and he had no idea what I was playing. So I didn't even need the Solemn Judgment in game 3. And then I played against Dragon Link in round 3, and that was a 2-0, so I didn't ever actually see Solemn Judgment. Because I drew D-Shifter in game 2 against them and they just scooped. I have different Floodgates sided, so I have 2 Tikaboo, 2 Rivalry, I have the 3rd Skill Drain, and the 3rd Goza match. So I have the 3rd Gozen and the 3rd Skill Drain mostly for just if I need them. Genuinely, it was more of just I needed 2 spots in the side deck field, and I couldn't think of what else to put in there. Because I couldn't think of any like normal trap cards that were floodgates that I could use for searchable floodgates, and I just upped what I had. Also, they kind of just hit Vanquish Soul pretty well. For with Goes a match, and same with Rivalry, and same with and then Tikaboo is for like the Dragon matchup, and for Dark World, Tikaboo had this in game three against Dark World, and it took them forever to out it. By the time they outed it, it was like I just FTK'd them on the next turn. And then the last three cards are the other copy of Daruma Cannon in case there was Pearly, Dimensional Barrier for Fusion or Pearly, and then Different Dimension Ground. Um, this is the basically if you're going first, you put this in instead of D-Shifter because it's a searchable and reusable in the deck through Lovely and Lady Labyrinth. That's all you need. Um, and then it doesn't really hit you because it's just any monsters. So all your traps still go to graveyard, and then most decks that care about the graveyard care specifically about their monsters hitting grave. So that's pretty much like where you're at with that. And I think Different Dimension Ground was a really cool tag. I honestly liked Different Dimension Ground. It never came up during locals, but it was one of those cards that I kind of wish did because it itself was pretty good in testing. So I just wanted to I wanted to play it at locals, but I never got to. Basically what I'm saying. But anyway, guys, yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the kind of explanation of Labyrinth and what the deck can do. Um, if you like what you see, I normally upload 3 videos a day, but for the month of July, I'm uploading 4 dual videos a day, and then anything else on top of it. So typically, it's for the month of July, it's going to be 4 to 5 videos a day, depending on what day it is. I also upload some videos from locals. I also do a bunch of deck profiles. So if you like this kind of Yu-Gi-Oh content, please feel free to subscribe. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. At 1,000 subscribers, guys, I'm planning to do a giveaway for some of these like legendary hero decks. I think I have. It's like a Kaiba starter deck, a legendary hero deck, and I think it's a different Kaiba. I think it's the Blue Eye Structure deck. But so if you're interested in that, please subscribe. At 1,000 subscribers, we're doing that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.